There now is an investigation into who leaked a draft decision showing the court intends to overturn Roe v. Wade.
A formal decision would not happen until this summer, but Chief Justice John Roberts confirmed today that leaked draft is authentic. We have team coverage with what we do know and what we don't, and what this would mean for Hoosiers.
But let's begin tonight with some background on Roe v. Wade. The decision in 1973 established a woman's right to choose. It's protected under the 14th Amendment's right to privacy. However, the right to privacy is not absolute and must be balanced. That balance is established by pregnancy trimesters. During the first trimester, the government cannot prohibit an abortion at all. In the second, the court ruled a state may regulate abortion if the regulations are reasonable related to the woman's health. And the third trimester prohibits abortion unless it's necessary to save the life or health of a mother.
It is very unusual for Supreme Court deliberations to be leaked before a final opinion is released.
And that means that now, as you can imagine, there's a lot of questions about what that leaked draft actually means.
Senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel explains what information we know tonight, and just as important, what we do not know about the Supreme Court's decision.
Let's go ahead and break all this down. First, what's true? We can verify the Supreme Court's initial draft opinion reported by Politico is real. Today, the Supreme Court released a statement calling the document authentic. In that draft opinion involving a Mississippi abortion challenge, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, "When it comes to abortion, no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, and therefore Roe v. Wade must be overturned." He wrote that draft back in February. We also know the Supreme Court is now investigating how the document was leaked. Chief Justice John Roberts calls it an egregious breach of trust. So we can verify the draft opinion published by Politico is authentic. Justice Alito's draft opinion, as written back in February, would overturn federal protection to obtain an abortion, and the Supreme Court is now investigating the source of the leak. But there's also information that's not true, mostly statements that are way ahead of where we actually are.
The Supreme Court has voted to overturn abortion rights.
That's Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene on Twitter last night, reading the Politico headline and declaring it a victory. Today, the Supreme Court said the draft opinion does not represent a decision by the court or the final position of any member on the issues in the case. And legal scholars tell Verify, initial drafts often change dramatically before they're final. Sometimes justices even change their vote as opinions are being drafted.
So this is not definitive. There's still this is only a draft opinion that's being circulated in the hope that it will attract ultimately 5 votes. So nothing's over till it's over.
It's also important to note, if the draft opinion were to be published essentially as is, it would not completely overturn abortion rights. It would eliminate federal protections, allowing each individual state to determine what's legal and what's not. So we can verify any claims that the court has overturned abortion rights, not true, at least not as of right now. What we do not know, has the court reached a final opinion? What will be included in that opinion, and when will it be announced? It could come in a few weeks or in a few months. For all that, stay tuned.
And for the first time since the draft leaked, we heard from President Biden.
He stopped to talk with reporters before boarding Air Force One.
If the rationale of the decision as released were to be sustained, a whole range of rights are in question, a whole range of rights. And the idea we're letting the states make those decisions, localities make those decisions, would be a fundamental shift in what we've done.
Also, we heard from one of Indiana's Republican senators today.
Senator Mike Braun released a statement saying in part, quote, "If the leaked opinion is accurate, then today is a landmark day for the sanctity of human life in our country."
If the Supreme Court were to overturn Roe v. Wade, that means it would be up to each state to decide whether or not to restrict abortion or outlaw it completely. So what would happen here in Indiana? Dustin Grove is at the State House tonight to explain.
This, of course, is a Republican state. It does not take a legal or political expert to tell you we could see tighter restrictions, if not an all-out ban on abortion. The decision will ultimately be made here at the State House, and the conversation is already well underway. Earlier this spring, 100 Republican lawmakers signed this letter to Governor Holcomb, urging him to call a special session should the U.S. Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade, adding, as a state that recognizes life is a precious gift that should never be neglected, it is our desire that you, as the governor of Indiana, ensure those values are upheld without delay. And a pro-abortion rights think tank includes Indiana in a list of 26 states, half the country, either certain or likely to ban abortion if overturned by the High Court.
I guess this will be an interesting test of Governor Holcomb, who, has shown some willingness to stand up and defy the most conservative members of his party on some issues.
For now, the governor isn't saying. In a statement, he told us he didn't want to comment on a leaked draft. Instead, he's going to wait to review the official and final decision.
I think whether that means very restrictive or completely illegal is going to depend on, frankly, the dynamics within the state Republican Party, which controls, all parts of state government.
Remember, even if the governor were to break with Republicans, as he has on some other issues this year, the GOP majority could easily overturn any veto. Today, Senate President Pro Tem Roderick Bray told us if that leak from the Supreme Court is true and the court is heading that direction, it would be good news, and suggests Indiana will be in a position to improve our record as a strong defender of life. But he also said it would be premature at this point to say exactly what any legislation would look like.
And there's actually one thing people on both sides of the abortion debate agree on. Both believe it'll likely be overturned. Isn't that right, Rich?
It is, and an issue, of course, where there is extreme disagreement. For pro-life advocates, overturning Roe v. Wade would be a legal reversal that they have fought for and waited for almost 50 years. And groups like the Indiana Family Institute expect almost immediate action to ban most abortions in our state.
To send the issue of abortion back to the states would be a major step forward. That means each state, all 50 state legislatures, will set abortion policy. Indiana's a pro-life state, so we would anticipate that it would be largely illegal here, if not completely illegal. But of course, other states might make a different path. But it was shocking news, but heartening news.
Planned Parenthood is a major abortion provider in Indiana, with 3 clinics in Indianapolis. We received a statement from the national organization telling us they've seen the writing on the wall for decades, but it's still devastating. They went on to say, quote, Planned Parenthood health centers remain open, abortion is currently still legal, and we will continue to fight like hell to protect the right to access safe, legal abortion. I'll have more reaction from both sides on what happens next coming up at 6 o'clock, and we'll see you then.
Okay, Rich, thank you so much. A very divisive issue this evening. We appreciate it.
And as always, you can see all of our coverage on this leak and what it could mean for you on our website right now. Make sure you've got the free WTHR News app as well. It's a free download in your phone's app store, and you can sign up for alerts. That way, once there's notification of breaking news, you're going to get it just like when we sent you the leak today that it was authentic.